Assalamu alaikum. Myself, Richi Khatun. My ID is 24115 Today, our presentation topic is DeepSeek, the next generation large language model. In today's rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence, large language models are playing a vital role in how we learn, code, and solve complex problems. Among them, DeepSeek stands out as a powerful and innovative AI model, and that is why we have chosen this topic in our presentation. This presentation has been prepared by a dedicated team. Our team members are Mohima Hossein Safa, MG Sajidul Jidan, Alfi Rahman, and Yasin Arafat Shiblu. Now let's talk about what is DeepSeek. DeepSeek is a powerful large language model designed to understand and generate human like text. It is an open and accessible AI model, which means researcher and developer can use and improve it freely. DeepSeek is considered a strong competitor to models like GPT-4 and Gemini, especially because it performs very well in complex reasoning, coding, and mathematics. Due to this strength, DeepSeek is widely used in learning, programming, and problem-solving tasks. Now, my teammate Safa will explain the next part of DeepSeek in more detail. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Mohim Hassan Safa. My ID is 241152113. Now I will explain DeepSeek unique architecture and how DeepSeek works. Now let's talk about DeepSeek unique architecture. DeepSeek is built using a mixture of expert or MOE architecture. Although the model has around 671 billion parameters, it does not use all of them at once. Instead, only about 37 billion parameters are activated for each task, which makes the system faster and more efficient. You can think of this like consulting only the right specialist instead of the whole team. Because of this targeted processing, DeepSeek delivers high performance at a lower cost compared to traditional large language models. Next, let's see how DeepSeek works. DeepSeek uses a special mechanism called multi-head latent attention or MLA. Instead of memorizing everything, it summarizes important information from long inputs. This allows DeepSeek to handle long conversation more effectively while staying accurate and focused. At the same time, this approach reduces computational load, making the model faster and more efficient than traditional attention method. This smarter use of memory and attention is one of the core inventions that sets DeepSeek apart from many other language models. That's all from my side. Now I would like to hand over the presentation to Alfi Rahman, who will continue with the next part.
Thank you, Safa. Assalamu alaikum. This is Alfi Rahman. My student ID is 24115 Today, I will talk about training DeepSeek using reinforcement learning and distillation. First of all, training DeepSeek, reinforcement learning from scratch. In this slide, I will explain how DeepSeek is trained. DeepSeek is trained using pure reinforcement learning, so it does not depend much on supervised data. It learns autonomously through trial and error, where reviewers help the model improve its responses over time. DeepSeek also uses chain of thought reasoning, which meaning it thinks step by step before giving the final answer. This step-by-step thinking improves the accuracy, logic, and reliability of its answer. Now, distillation, making powerful AI accessible. In this slide, I will explain DeepSeek's distillation process. Distillation transfers advanced knowledge from a large teacher model to a smaller and more efficient student model. The smaller model requires less powerful hardware, uses less energy, and reduces overall cost, while still maintaining strong performance. As a result, powerful AI becomes more practical, affordable, and widely accessible. So, this was all about how DeepSeek is trained and how distillation makes AI more accessible. These methods help DeepSeek because more intelligent, efficient, and cost effective. Now, I would like to hand over the presentation to my next team member Jidan, who will explain the next topic in more details. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Alfie, for your discussion. And now I'm going to show some example about how DeepSeek works. However, I'm Sajidul Jidan and my ID is 241152268. First, let's look at a simple example. The challenge here is to determine which number is greater, 9.11 or 9.8. So DeepSeek breaks both number into parts. It understands that 9.11 is 9 plus 0.11 and 9.8 is 9 plus 0.8. When it compares the decimal values, it sees that 0.8 is greater than 0.11. So it correctly concludes that 9.8 is the larger number. This shows that even for simple examples, DeepSeek follows clear logical steps instead of guessing. Let's move to a more complex real-world example. In this scenario, a company has 150 employees, 60% work in tech, 30% in sales, and 10% in operations. Each department also has a different average salary. Then what is the annual payroll? To solve this problem, DeepSeek follows some steps. In step 1, DeepSeek first extract all key data includes total employees, department percentage and average salaries. In step 2, it calculates the number of employees per department. In step 3, DeepSeek calculates the payroll for each department. And finally, DeepSeek adds all department payroll together and calculate the total annual payroll. That's all for me. Next slide will explain Yasin Arafat Shiblu.
Thank you, Zidan, for your assist. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Yasin Arafat Shiblu, ID 241152888. Now I'm trying to explain real world use case. Now let's see a real life use of DeepSeek. DeepSeek works like a work coding helper. It can write code, check code, and help fix problems step by step. It can also help solve difficult programming problems like big calculations or logical problems. Because DeepSeek can think well, it gives correct and helpful answer. So it is very useful for developers, students and researchers. Moving to the next slide. Why DeepSeek matters? DeepSeek is important for some simple reasons. First, it works very well and can compete with big and famous AI models. Second, DeepSeek is open so many people can use it, learn from it, and work together. Finally, it uses less cost and less computer power, but still gives good results. That is why DeepSeek is strong and useful AI model. Moving to the next slide, the future with DeepSeek. In future, DeepSeek has a lot of potential. It will become smarter, faster, and more efficient. DeepSeek will be used more in education, research, software development, and creative work by making AI easy to use for everyone. DeepSeek is helping to build the future of technology. Thank you for listening.